Great.
Good? Awake? Nice and full? Okay, great. So, good afternoon. My name is Hayley Davis, and I serve with Long Island University's Brooklyn campus, which we call LIU Brooklyn. Thank you all very much for being here and dedicating your time to hear some of our stories of the service, because it's extremely important to us. These are our lives, and so we really appreciate that. So this is the Brooklyn Bridge. If any of you are not familiar, I love the Brooklyn Bridge. So I work right on that other side towards downtown Brooklyn. The neighborhood that we're in is called Fort Greene. All right, so I won't read to you everything that's on the slide, but LIU was formed in 1926 with LIU Brooklyn. I'll just explain a little bit of the mission of the university, and I'll emphasize a couple of words that I think are very important. So LIU's mission is to provide access in private higher education to people of all backgrounds who seek to expand their knowledge and prepare themselves for meaningful lives, educated lives, and to serve their communities and the world. So I really like that. Some of those things like serving communities and providing access to all people. I like that LIU's mission includes that, and I'm proud to be the first ever VISTA that LIU has had. And their motto is to the city and to the world, and I love that because the city obviously is very important to us. We're a campus in and of New York City, which is a very unique opportunity. Okay, so the LIU VISTA project is a lot of things. Essentially, LIU is aiming at building partnerships with the community and expanding those partnerships. So by partnerships, we're really talking about other educational institutions and other institutions that are also working towards bettering the community. So my VISTA project has been developing partnerships with local high schools, including superintendents, high school principals, assistant principals, guidance counselors, things like that. I have been working to recruit students while I'm developing those partnerships, and actually the recruiting happens sort of as naturally after we develop those partnerships. So we get into the high school, we make partners with the principals, and we talk to students and recruit that way. I'm also responsible for tracking the students' attendance and GPAs in their high school and college classes, because the project that's come out of this original VISTA project is an early college program, an accelerated college program called the Early College Scholars Program. So I also do things like coordinate orientation sessions and orientation seminar sessions, which focus on things like academic strategies, study tips, time management. I coordinate and chaperone some field trips, like we recently went to the Brooklyn Navy Yard and did a little sustainability scavenger hunt, so that was really cool. What else do I do? I've been assisting the grant writer in pursuing funding for the LIU Early College Scholars Program, which has been a fantastic opportunity. And similar to Kat, I never thought that I would be doing that, at least not in this VISTA project, but I realized that it's a really important skill, and I really enjoyed having that chance to do that. Yeah, and I'll get into a little bit more about what we do, but these are our students, some of our students. We have more, but there are some of them, and they're all 11th graders and 10th graders. And I just love that they almost always wear their hoodies, their LIU hoodies, to class every day. I think it's adorable. So some of the accomplishments of the project so far, essentially since I began in August, when I began in August, the Early College Scholars Program was merely a conversation between the new president of the university and members of the community. And so now, since I've been there, we have pretty much fully developed this program and launched it. So since we are in the middle of the spring semester, and since the semester began in January, we currently have 36 students in the Early College Scholars Program taking college classes on campus, Mondays through Thursdays, after they complete their high school day. They also, I don't put this on here, but they also participate in mentoring sessions and tutoring sessions every week, aside from those orientation sessions and field trips that we do. We also have 7 pre-ECS students, and so we originally had over 100 students apply for this spring semester. So this is the first semester of the program. And while many of those students didn't display through the application process that they were able to excel in a college classroom, we didn't accept them into the program. by the university standards because we didn't want to set them up for failure, but we did offer an alternative. So we reached out before the semester started and said to the principals, if any of your students are interested in coming and doing math and English workshops to boost up their skills and streamline their process when they enter the program later on, they can come and do that. So we have 7 students that took advantage of that opportunity and that still come to math and English workshops weekly on campus. So total we have 43 students that we're serving in that capacity. And they're from 8 different high schools, 2 private schools and 6 public schools. And most of our students are minority students relying on free or reduced price lunch. And we are also expanding the partnerships, so we are now working with 3 superintendents instead of the 1 that we started with, and we're reaching over 50 public high schools between Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the other 2 boroughs. So it's really becoming a huge thing, and our community outreach has been astounding. Okay, so I have a couple of slides here with memorable quotes and stories of our students, and the first 2 are from a logo challenge that we gave to our students. Purely voluntary. We said, if you are interested, please, design on the computer or draw a logo for our program because LIU has a logo, but Early College Scholars doesn't. And so eventually we will work with marketing. But anyways, I put this slide on here because it just makes me really happy, and I'll just read it to you. So this was one of our students from Al-Noor School, which is a primarily Muslim school in Brooklyn. She said, attached to this email, so she attached the photo, she said, is the Early College Scholars logo that I have designed. When the letters increase in their size, it represents how we, the ECS students, that's our acronym, ECS, grow intellectually and in experience. The colors and it being drawn in a doodle-like way is because it shows our youth. Hope you like it. So I thought that was just adorable. And I think that I show you because it really shows me that first of all, they're willing to participate in activities of the program that are not mandatory. So they chose to participate in this fun little activity, and also that they truly believe they are growing as a result of participating in this program and being on this campus and working with us, which is great. And I'm going to show you another one. You might not be able to read this, but this was another one of our students from a different high school, a public school. I'll just read you can see some of the words that he included in this, in the bubble letters. Opportunity, friends, awesome, excitement, cool, fun, science. I thought those were great. And once again, it just shows that his experience is clearly positive and that he's excited about the program. And in the beginning, we faced a little bit of resistance from faculty at LIU, from the professors, just because it's a new program and we're introducing younger students into their classroom who aren't necessarily college ready. They're high achieving but high needs, and so we just had to work with the faculty, and it turned out great because the results have been very positive. So although there was initially a little bit of resistance, now that the students are in the classrooms, the professors are saying things like, your students' presence and questions have improved participation from the older students, which is great. He's handling well the challenges of work that is advanced for his age. And this is the case for many of the students. And that's just fantastic feedback to hear from the professors who were initially a little bit, reserved. And so I'll share another story with you. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the Pinkerton Foundation, but it's a grant-making foundation based out of New York City. And so I mentioned earlier that I have been assisting I don't remember her exact title, I think like the Director of Foundation Relations at LIU Brooklyn. I've been working with her to go after some funding for the Early College Scholars Program because it's rapidly growing. And so the Pinkerton Foundation, she had sent them a letter of inquiry. They asked for a proposal. She sent the grant proposal, which I gave her a little bit of details for, and worked with her on. So they were interested, and they said, okay, let's do a site visit. So 2 program officers from the Pinkerton Foundation came to LIU Brooklyn, and I was so honored to be invited to be a part of that process because I'm just a VISTA. I'm in the background, but they were actually really interested to hear what I had to say. And anyway, so the program officers came to LIU Brooklyn. We met in the afternoon on a Thursday. We sat in the provost's office and we were all introducing ourselves and shared a couple of laps. And then I was fortunate enough to be their guide around the campus. So I brought them to one of the classes because they were interested in observing. So we took them to an Introduction to Health Professions class, which had, I think, between 20 and 30 students total, but 5 of the students are Early College Scholars students. So regular class, and that day they were teaching medical terminology. So we got there for the second portion of the class, but the program officers and myself and the grant writer got to do a fun dancing activity. So we learned, parts of the body and anatomy terms like proximal, distal, and we were just doing moves and stuff like that. And they loved it. They were having a lot of fun. And the part that I really loved was later on in the afternoon when the program officers came to observe the mentoring and tutoring piece, which was after the students' class for about an hour. And instead of just observing the mentoring and tutoring, they started asking questions to all the students and really, they were just really curious about everything because these are the participants. Of course you want to know what they have to say and see if this program is real and how are we really serving them in the way that we say that we are. So it was fantastic. The grant writer sitting across from me and the rest of the students and the officers are over here at this end of the long table. And the grant writer's looking at me like, did you script this? Because they are amazing. The students were saying things like about how they have evolved so much from this program and they're so mature now and their peers don't understand in high school. It was really fantastic. And they just had a lot of really positive feedback about the program and about their experience. And they seemed truly happy to be a part of it, which was just great to see. So the next LAU Brooklyn Vista, there are 2 years left of the project because this is the first year. So the project will just continue to formalize partnerships in the community with those superintendents, build partnerships and keep expanding and solidifying processes that I have started to put in place with the university. Just really streamlining different processes like registration of classes and making sure the application process is smooth and really fleshing it out and continuing to build and grow the program because we have done a lot of work since August, but there's still much more work to be done. And personally, next year I'm thinking about serving. I was thinking about serving as a second-year VISTA at LAU Brooklyn, but I'm also thinking about now more working with another AmeriCorps program or accepting a full-time position at LAU Brooklyn because they've told me that they would be very interested in having me there, which is a really nice thing to hear. So I'm considering those couple of things, and ultimately I intend to get my master's degree, probably in public health, but I'm also considering social work, probably by fall of 2017. So yes, I would love to answer any questions if anybody has.